in this supernatural thriller, don't take Martin Lawrence doing a more serious film as him having a kind of turn that Jim Carrey and others have, where, now we see him in a whole new light and he's going to be this big time dramatic actor. But at the same time, this is probably one of the best productions he has done in years. To summarize Mindcage, it's been about 5 years since a man known as the Artist killed 6 women, all of which were sex workers, and with their bodies, he made them into these religious looking figures. Jake, who's a cop, was there at the time with his partner, and with the Artist now in prison, the rise of a copycat for him is very startling, frustrating, and it's also very alarming. But what doesn't help his feelings is that his new partner, Mary, she seems to be trying to prove herself, and in the pursuit of that, she decides that she's going to talk to the Artist to try to seek answers as to who the copycat may be. This, for a good part of the movie, leads to minimal results and just leads to more women getting killed. And that is until a reveal that reminds you never to question the divine. Breaking down each character. The Artist is somebody who's been really into religious art since his childhood and has always found himself drawn to depicting angels and saints throughout his artwork. But it isn't until speaking to Samael, who I believe is a name for Lucifer, does his life take a turn and he finds himself slowly drawn toward, instead of just drawing in his notepad, angels and saints, using human bodies after they've been killed to display what he would draw on the page. Switching over to Jake. Jake is a cop who's been traumatized in regards to his first encounter with the Artist, to the point that Jake wants little to nothing to do with him when it comes to this new case. For alongside what he saw the Artist create, he's still mourning his partner before Mary, who the Artist, in his mind, killed. Mary is Jake's new partner who, like the Artist, experienced a form of child abuse growing up, and with that you can see that's where her and the Artist kind of bond. But while the Artist experienced physical abuse by his mom, who was a sex worker, Mary's was more mental, emotional, as her father really pushed the concept of what hell is like when it came to burning himself and doing other things that for a child was very traumatic to see. Hence why Mary is not someone who really leans toward having faith, and more so, rather than have faith in a higher being, she rather foster faith in herself. So the first highlight when it comes to Mindcage is just the angel art. Now, the 2 artists involved with setting up the models, I can't pronounce the names, but I'm going to put it at the bottom of the screen. And when I say these pieces of art they do, they're not overly violent, but they still have a slight gruesomeness to it that kind of conflicts with the beauty and just kind of, I won't say mind-boggling, because it's not like this movie doesn't go to like a level of Saw when it comes to the violence, but it's something about it where you appreciate both the beauty of the angelic figures as well as the gruesomeness of the whole situation that helps you understand why, for this movie, they chose to call the villain the Artist. Because it's definitely the type of art that disturbs you in a way, yet it leaves an impression on you that makes you feel something. And considering this is not probably like a big budget film and it has that kind of effect, at least on me, I think it's very notable. The second highlight for us is that it was a decent mystery with a decent finish. And the reason why we say it's a decent mystery is because, unlike some mysteries that we've watched lately, you get the real feeling that the evidence presented is supposed to have it where you're supposed to look at this person and maybe think maybe they did it, then turn to this person and think maybe they did it because of the new evidence that got presented, and because of that, you get really invested in who's who, what they might have done, how they play a part into this film, and then when things end, I'll admit the ending is kind of weak, but at the same time, the comeuppance that comes at the end is satisfying enough for you to forgive the reveal that is a little bit unremarkable. The last topic is an on-the-fence topic, and that's that ultimately Mindcage is a bit forgettable. And the reason we say that is, yes, the angel art leaves an impression on you, But while the mystery's decent, the ending's decent, ultimately it's just a cop drama which has a heavy focus on what this crazy, like weird villain did. And don't get me wrong, John Malkovich is a very good actor. In a way, he plays off of Martin Lawrence, and Mary's actress is not bad, but it's not something that really makes you think, he deserves to be like on a pedestal of villains within horror movies, cop dramas, or whatever. It's just like a lot of the video on demand releases that we review, it's something to watch. It's decent for something that's only like maybe $4 to maybe $6, $7 to rent. It does what it's supposed to do. It entertains you, but it's not going to be something that you're going to watch over and over again and eventually maybe think about buying. Overall, when it comes to Mindcage, at its best, it's a movie to watch since you haven't seen Martin Lawrence in a while and want to see him do something that doesn't require him to be comedic, since it's been a while outside of Bad Boys where he's been like truly funny, outside of his stand-up, which is still good. But at its worst, I would say Mindcage is something to watch to see how good your detective skills are, and while it won't, as we know, to be put on a pedestal or list for best movie of the year or pretty much the best anything in any of the actors' filmography, it does present enough in regards to entertainment to be worth checking out, especially if you're a fan of anyone involved, or you just have a genuine love for cop dramas with eccentric villains at the center of it all.